Griffin the Griffin by BlackWing. Chapter 27, Diplomacy Part 2. After giving Gilda a few moments with Maria to go over what they were going to say, we all took our positions and began. Let's begin, shall we? Maria, you are charged with assisted murder, enslavement, theft, destruction of public property, and the murderer being the mother of Nadine, who is overseeing this trial. How do you plead?
I don't understand,
the gray-feathered Griffin responded. Innocent or guilty?
Innocent.
Very well, let's get this trial underway. Were you or were you not part of a three-person group consisting of yourself, a unicorn, and another griffin by the name of Carl?
I didn't know his name was Carl. He said he was Phoenix.
She trailed off. That is besides the point. He used a fake name. We have already established this. Were you a part of that group?
Yes.
And what was this group's purpose?
To survive.
I see. Let's start at the beginning. When did you meet the other griffin?
Well, I was being chased when he found me.
Chased by who?
Cats. There was a whole group of pumas. 3 or 4. I forget.
And then what happened?
Well, I was being chased, and that's when he and the unicorn showed up. He tackled one of them and killed it, and while the unicorn, Ember, used fire to keep the rest at bay. He eventually scared them off.
Is that why you didn't fly away?
My wings were injured.
How long ago was this?
A month and a half, maybe 2 months.
If she's telling the truth, Carl got sent here maybe a day after I did. What the hell? Did the worlds really cross over for a day? And are all the powers that be sent their pawns? So, how did your wings get injured?
I was shot.
By who?
Pegasus Hoof and Briarhoof Mill, a small farming community just outside of the forest.
The reason?
I got caught stealing food, and when I tried to escape, they shot at me. I was unable to make it to the jungle, but I couldn't fly anymore.
So you were fleeing the authorities and took to the jungle to hide?
Yes.
That seems rather foolish considering the punishment for stealing food is only a couple days, after which you would have gotten help, perhaps a job, and you would have been able to live in peace.
You say that now, but when the guards yell, "Stop right there, criminal scum," all you want to do is run. Besides, they're ponies. There's no way they'd go easy on a griffin. They'd probably pin everything from animal attacks to last year's drought on me.
She did not just say that. And, well, yeah, the ponies really would do that. So you entered the jungle, you were chased by pumas, then rescued by Carl and Ember. Is this correct?
Yes.
Alright, when did you arrive at the Vren village?
About a month ago.
Why did you go there?
We stumbled across it, really. We were just looking for any signs of civilization.
And the reason?
My wing, after a week, had gotten infected.
So then what happened?
Carl found out that they weren't fighters. He heard about the Griffin pirates somewhere, and our group matched pretty well, so we decided to go for the intimidation route. They wouldn't share freely, so we had to try and take what we needed in terms of food and medicine. The woman tried to fight back, and he killed her. Then he took over the village. If he didn't keep them in line, they would have certainly lashed out at us, despite their peaceful nature. And then he made them carry him around like he was some kind of a king. He took everything they had, and any time someone raised a voice about it, he'd remind them that he had taken the chief.
Objection! Maria looked shocked as I had suddenly raised my voice. If Carl was able to find out that they weren't fighters, then he would have known that they share what they have. The entire existence is about helping others. It's why they don't have warriors in the first place. They don't need them. They have good relationships with the other tribes who protect them in exchange for healing. They would have welcomed you with open arms. As for food, it is plentiful in the land of Vren, and would not have been an issue. What's more, Nadine was a witness to the scene of her mother's death. Both parents hated fighting, and neither stood up against him. His reason for killing her was to set an example for the rest, to keep them in line so he could take over. It wasn't about trying to get meager provisions. It was about one thing and one thing alone. Greed! He killed an innocent woman, burnt down half a village, and took everything they had, and you helped him. I pointed my claw at her. The entire crowd seemed shocked. Hold it! Gilda said, who had been quiet the whole time, suddenly spoke up. We had actually gone over what we would say beforehand, just to make it more interesting. While this wasn't a regular court case, it was certainly the most interesting one I had ever seen. The crowd seemed to be eating it up.
Griffin, you knew Carl personally, did you not?
Yes, I did.
And would you say that he was a liar?
Absolutely.
Then how do you know my client, Maria, wasn't simply being lied to? Given the way she reacted to most situations, it's clear she is naive, and the one responsible for the crime was manipulating her,
Gilda said as she slammed her claws into the log in front of her. Normally used for the cats to sit on, it was the perfect height for the Griffin desk. However, that does not change the fact that even after he committed that crime, she still assisted in robbing and enslaving the Bren. She did not speak out against him despite his wrongdoings and assisted in holding the village chief hostage. Here's where you can stop the music. Or just keep playing it if you want.
I was scared, all right. I knew what he was doing was wrong, but he just killed someone. I had no idea that he was going to do that. I mean, he killed a puma, but that's just an animal. How was I supposed to know he'd kill a person? By that point, I wasn't too far to back out. He just told me to keep quiet and go along with it. As long as I did that, he'd make sure I was taken care of and that he wouldn't hurt me. I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of running, tired of trying to scrape out a meager life, living in a land that doesn't want me. Am I not allowed to be happy?
Her words struck like a chord. Those very same words that I had asked myself so many times, I found coming out of someone else's mouth. Still, she had admitted her crime, and while I didn't get her for murder, I did on the other accounts. I've done my job. So then you admit to willful theft, enslavement, and destruction of public and private property?
Yes.
At which point, Gilda, Nadine, and myself huddled at the cat's position. Well, that's all I needed to hear. Nadine, you've been quiet this whole time. Anything you want to ask her?
Nah, I'm quite content with the job you two have done getting her story out of her. I'm ready for my verdict, was it?
She asked. Yep. All right, back to your positions.
Maria, for the crime and the murder of my mother, I find you not guilty.
She breathed a sigh of relief.
However, for the theft, enslavement, and kidnapping of my people and their property, I find you guilty on all counts.
Her heart looked like it was about to leap from her throat.
Since my father, the village chief, was returned in good health and all stolen goods returned, I am dropping those charges. However, as for enslavement, your punishment will be to serve as my mount, as a part of the Griffin pirate crew. You will not be given decision-making privileges within the group, as you will be considered an extension of myself. However, you will be taken care of, fed, trained in combat, and treated as part of our family so long as you continue to play your role. The crowd looked pleased with her decision, as did Maria. Being taken care of, having a family, no longer having to be afraid, was a wonderful possibility. The dogs released her, and she went flying to the cat and nuzzled up against her. I'm so sorry. I'm just so stupid. I was afraid and I couldn't see past my own beak. I know I can never make up for what I helped him do, but I'm glad I at least have the chance to try.
Nadine held her in her long cat arms. Tell me, Maria, how old are you?
I'm 14.
After briefly discussing with Gilda the average Griffin age, should they die of old age, not the plethora of other causes, I learned that 19 was the age of Griffin maturity, mating age. So compared to the human age 14, which is when Griffins reach full size, Griffins live to be about 150 years old, and as it turns out, I'm not sure if Gilda's age. So on the Griffin's age scale, Maria is about a 10-year-old as a human. No wonder she was scared. Sorry we had to go through that, Maria, but we had to know what was really going on. You're just a kid, and some big mean guy comes along, saves your life, and tells you he'll take care of you. You don't really have a choice. Either go along with it or die. But we have to make sure. That, and it was really fun. Tears flowing from her green eyes, staining Nadine's orange coat and her own gray feathers. Maria had curled up in a ball in the cat's arms. Of course, she was far too heavy for that, causing them both to fall over in a heap. She really is just a kid after all. Probably lost her parents, maybe to a dragon, although, given the way she looks at Etch and Growl, it was D-Dogs.
This is touching and all, but what about our problems? The Romac ain't gonna stop stealing our food, and we can't keep relying on you birdies to keep some out.
The old hag elder stated. Right, solve one problem, now I gotta remind of the next one. Well, first we get to the newest member of our crew acquainted with how we do things. Then we'll be back tomorrow with some more food, and then we'll discuss what we're gonna do about this whole Romac Lemco problem, alright? She agreed in her normal huffy manner, and so Gilda, carrying the dogs, Trixie on my back, and Nadine on Maria and bareback, all flew back to our camp. We were about halfway there before I started shaking. Hey, Griff, are you alright? My unicorn rider asked. I didn't answer. Griff?
Oh shit! Gilda! We're going down!
This is gonna hurt. I blacked out before I hit the ground. Blood. Blood everywhere. I didn't even try running. I dove right into the stream, trying to drink it all, which I surprisingly succeeded in doing.
Is this it? Is this what you're trying to tell me? That I need more? I already know that! Now I'm arguing with my subconscious? Hey, Griff! Nadine, he's coming too!
I felt my back was on hardwood, shaking my head to clear my muddled thoughts.
Here, drink this.
I found a vial in front of me, full of good old blue stuff, which I guzzled.
What was that all about, Griff? We had to drag you back to the camp,
Gilda said with scorn. I think I'm getting worse.
You don't say,
she replied. I think if I don't find a dragon soon, I might die.
What's going on? I don't understand,
Mari asked.
Griff here drank dragon blood once on accident, and as it turns out, he got addicted to it,
Nadine answered. I don't think it's a normal addiction, guys. With normal addiction, if you stop taking it, you eventually get over it. If you try to stop, you get withdrawal symptoms, which causes strain on the body. But the strain is getting worse and worse. I think it's going to be a lot worse before it gets any better. And if that's the case, I'll die. Fuck. Pisses me off. Maybe I could quit, but I can't just do it cold turkey. I need to get off it by slowly cutting down how much I have, until it's only a drop at a time.
Which means we need to find a dragon. Problem is, even if we could kill another one, they're all up north,
Gilda added. I picked up Hades again, admiring it. I got this when I killed that big black one. How was I supposed to know dragon blood was addictive? It didn't have any effect when I had it, so I didn't think it was a drug. If we had a doctor, maybe we could find a cure or at least a treatment. So either I find a medic or get more dragon blood. As I spoke, a small shimmer ran up my sword's edge, ending in a twinkle at the point. Suddenly, I felt better again. Okay, now what the hell? I'm feeling fine again. You all saw that, right? They nodded. Trixie, try and throw your magic at my sword, like you do with the gems. She nodded again, closing her eyes as her horn glowed even brighter before it knocked her over on her back.
No good, it just bounces off.
Damn. Maybe it's a coincidence, or am I going crazy?
I don't know. Well, we should get moving, collecting the food we need for the Lemco for tomorrow,
Gilda suggested. I got up, and then was knocked right back down by Trixie.
Oh, no, you don't, mister. I was barely able to lift you enough to prevent us from crashing headfirst into the forest floor. I'm not having you go out there again. You are going to lay here and get some rest.
Oh, great, I'm being mothered by a unicorn. I'm the captain, and I'm going.
And I'm the potion maker, and while I'm not a doctor, I'm currently the group's medic. I say you are currently unfit for duty, and need bed rest.
Nadine
Damn, has she been watching Star Trek or something? How'd she know that?
Fine, you win. I walked over to the corn and called over to myself. Gilda and Mario flew off to collect the food we need for the tribe, and presumably to get to know each other better, while Nadine went about making potions. Etch and Growl began their usual practice with Trixie, and I went to sleep.
I'm worried about you, Griff. Before I met you, I had nothing to live for. And now I have real hope of being able to pull this off. We keep gaining momentum, but it'll all fall apart if we lose you. Please be okay.
Dear Princess Luna, what is the main ingredient in moon pies? Sincerely, Griffin.